DARVO. It's an acronym. DARVO. Deny, attack, reverse, victim, and offender. DARVO is a manipulation tactic which is employed by many abusers. So, what abusers do is they deny any abuse at all. They attack their victim who is coming out and saying, hey, you have abused me. And as the abuser, they reverse the roles and they say, no, I'm innocent because I'm innocent. You, person who is accusing me of abuse, is actually the abuser. And your accusations you are making, you are abusing me. It's maddening. It's crazy. But what else would a guilty person, what else would an abuser do if they want to go about abusing, doing something that they're not supposed to be doing? How could they go on doing that unless they lie about it? They need their actions to be veiled and hidden by lies. And they need to make the person accusing them of what they have done look crazy. I know this all too well as a person who was born into an abusive family. We often call people who are consistently acted out against in this way, we call them the scapegoat. Okay? Jesus Christ is the most famous scapegoat of all time. But really, when you live in a culture that is an abusive culture, the United States of America, we have an abusive culture. It requires us to all participate in an economy which is exploitative. Okay? So you're going to be exploited, and or you're going to have to exploit another person in order to participate in the economy. And in order to stay alive, you need in some way to participate in the economy. So, in other words, we are all placed somewhere within various layers of a shit sandwich. We all have people above us, we all have people below us, we are all being abused and abusing to some degree or another. Even if it's indirectly, through our participation in the system. So where would you rather be in this shit sandwich? You'd rather be further at the top where you have less people above you exploiting you and abusing you, right? So we think it's all a race to the top, but really it's all a race to the bottom, because who wins in this system that is ultimately a shit sandwich? Oh, you get to be the king of the shit show? It really is a race to the bottom, because the system is utterly lacking in humanity. So if you win, it means that you've lost your humanity. How great is that, you know? But I've been thinking, I don't even know if that just made sense, but I think you probably got what I was saying. I probably could have used a better analogy. But I've been thinking about DARVO a lot. As a person who has found myself born into a family where I was at, the bottom of the shit sandwich. Because there's a lot of different sandwiches, right? There's like the overall cultural sandwich that is America. There is the family units within America. There is the whole nation, which is interacting with other nations and abusing and exploiting other nations. That's what empires do. This is an empire, and we conquer and we exploit and we abuse, and then we say, you should be thanking us, really. Like, we manipulate and we lie and we gaslight, and we've all been taught to do it to one another. So I've been thinking a lot about this, because I have a friend who is like houseless. Okay, he's a human being, but he just doesn't have a house. And of course that has come to be because of many things that have occurred throughout his life. It's brought him to where he is now, and he doesn't have a house. And if you were him, you would be in that position too, because you would be him. Right? It's not, I love when people say, well, if I had been in that situation, it would have turned out differently than me. No, if you had been in that situation as that person, you would be exactly where they are, because you'd be working with all of the things they have to work with, where they were born, the family they were born into, the IQ that they have, the interests that they have, their personality. All of these things work together to land a person where they are. And we've been taught to make broad sweeping judgments about people who are in particular stations of life. It must mean this, it must mean that. No, that's lazy. It's intellectually lazy, and we all know that deep down. But it's a way that we cope. It's a part of the cognitive dissonance that we all must engage in to go on participating in this system, which is abusive, and not feel really shitty about ourselves. But people do still feel shitty about themselves. That's why so many people are on drugs. Like, oh, but they've been prescribed by a doctor, so it's fine. No, it's still a drug. It's a drug. Let's get real. If you have to drug yourself to make yourself better about doing a certain thing, maybe you shouldn't be doing that thing, you know? If what you're engaging in makes you feel sad or depressed or anxious, maybe take a look at that, you know? Maybe it's the thing that's not right. Maybe it's not you. And I talk about that a lot, I know, because it's something very, that I've had a lot of experience with. I have experienced very strongly the possible negative side effects and the ways that can go wrong, like taking medications, not listening to your gut instinct, not listening to your intuition. We're all taught to do that as part of DARVO. You're the problem as the person who is being abused in the system, okay? And it doesn't feel good to be abused, and so you think your only hope is to rise to the top of the shit sandwich. Right? Oh, man. But I don't know. I'd like to... I got off on a tangent there. I was talking about a friend who's houseless, right? And like... And he was opening up to me about feeling like he doesn't fit in. And like that people judge him, you know? That people, he'll be around a group of people in public and he feels like they start separating themselves, walking away from him because, you know, they're making a judgment about him. Like they can tell that he is houseless, and they don't, for whatever reason, like who knows, maybe they don't want to be associated with him, maybe they have certain beliefs about what his character is going to be, like he's going to be crazy or he's a drug addict or something wrong with him, obviously. Like this is how he feels oftentimes, is that people are judging him. And but we've all been taught to do that to one another. And you know, I have to say, like I have experienced that very strongly, this whole like thing of being gaslit as someone who's being abused, like I said, by my family. So I was able to see it in the world and in our society at large. I think it's easier to spot, obviously, if you've experienced it in a very pronounced way in your own family. Like a lot of people, not a lot of people, but the people who come from like stronger family units who are more supportive and caring and loving, and maybe have more of an advantage in the society, maybe it's not so pronounced or obvious to them, and because they are comfortable, maybe they want to avoid and not look at what's going on all around them, even though maybe they know what's going on. They have every incentive not to see it. Because like, what are you gonna do about it? Like a lot of people are overwhelmed. It's too much. Like the issue with homelessness, this is like coming to a head. It's a huge problem in the United States of America, the richest country on the planet, the richest nation. You know, I think there's probably a lot of money in Dubai, but I don't know how that compares. You always hear America is the richest nation on the planet. I don't know if that's true, but we obviously have enough to provide for everybody, but we don't. Because our system requires us, the way it's set up, to be greedy. That's how it runs. It needs you to be hungry and greedy and lustful and addicted, and all of those things are not conducive to loving your brother and sister and looking out for your brothers and sisters, and so wow, this is my brain today. It's a little scattered. It's okay, I'm gonna post this anyway. I'm feeling this energy very much, and the weight of it, of like, could we please stop doing this to one another? We all know it's being done, and because it's been being done to all of us. So the point of this is like, the only way that we can change anything is to be the change. So if you don't want to be exploited, don't exploit others. Nobody wants to be exploited. The answer is not to try to be so good at exploiting that you rise to the top and therefore you're safe from being exploited. No, there's only one. There's like a very, very small percentage of people that are at the top, and guess what? By the time they get there, they're sociopathic, psychopathic, robots. And these are the people that are writing the softwares, the programs, the AI platforms, Grok, ChatGPT. They are influencing us, guiding us in certain directions. The people at the top, the psychopaths, they are seeding certain things into the culture that cause conflagrations, backbiting, fighting. It's all on purpose. This is all it's spiritual warfare, it's political warfare, we're being divided against ourselves, and we are all complicit in it by continuing to participate at all, by allowing ourselves to be puppets of these psychopathic elites. It's just the way that it is. It's true. The powers that be, the people who have the most power in this world, are crazy, psychopathic monsters. That's why you see the world the way that it is. That's why you see so many people suffering. That's why you see genocide. That's why you see people starving, being starved, in a world where there is plenty. We are provided for by our Creator. Everything we need is here. Isn't it amazing, like, how we teach our children to share, and how we teach our children, treat others the way you want to be treated. If you see your children playing in a sandbox with other kids, and they come out and they take the toy away and they kick them and they throw dirt in their face, sand in their face, you would go over and you would admonish your child, maybe put them in time out. But then that's how we all treat each other in the big sandbox that is America. Like, we're hypocrites. is bizarro, And at this point, many people aren't teaching their kids anything because they're too busy working for this system, and they got other people raising their kids. Mainly the public school system, which is indoctrinating into this whole DARVO cult. Teaching them how to abuse others and try to get away with it. It's not don't do bad things. It's don't get caught doing bad things. Right? Maybe we should just stop doing bad things. Oh, wow. This is a funny video. I bet people are not going to watch this video all the way through. This is where I'm at today, and this is honest. And I'm all about being real and honest. So I'm just going to... This is what I have to offer today, guys. Oh, okay, I'm about to go to the lake and take a walk. And think about how I can do no harm. It really is hard. It's challenging to participate in the system and actually do no harm. When you really place your attention on it, but it can be done, but it requires a lot of careful thought and consideration and mindfulness.